Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I'm delighted to be here. I've been hearing about this series now from various friends and writers in the Bay Area, so I'm so glad to finally participate. I'm here, I'm going to just be reading from this new book, King of Cuba, which came out a couple of months ago, and it's a book about El Comandante, a fictional version of Fidel Castro, alternating with the point of view of one of his many octogenarian nemesis in Miami and a rabble of other Cuban voices. And this book is filled with so many mistakes and regrets and whatever. It was very hard to choose. Pretty much there's a mistake or two on every page, but I thought I would concentrate on El Comandante tonight. One of the pleasures of writing him and trying to inhabit Fidel Castro, I felt like I was actually in a Fidel Castro immersion program before I wrote this book, was getting to inhabit him for a while and having all the weird prerogatives and perks of that power. So in this scene, El Comandante, who's a notorious insomniac, decides he wants to go to the aquarium and the hell with everybody. So here he is. You should know too that his brother is Fernando here, and he has a little sister named El Conejo, the rabbit. And I think that's probably all you need to know. Yeah, there's a kind of love-hate relationship. The introduction's going to be longer than this. Is why I write novels, not short stories or poems, because everything gets out of control. But he has a love-hate relationship with his brother, whom he's blaming for this big mistake. He's wanting these reenactments. He's concerned with his legacy, wanting reenactments of key historical moments of the Cuban Revolution, and his brother comes up with a musical of the Bay of Pigs instead. So this is problematic. All right. So Havana. It was long past midnight, and the tyrant couldn't sleep, not a wink. It was a wonder he hadn't suffered another intestinal attack after the knockdown fight with his brother. Fernando had revealed, with surprising nonchalance, that the impending Bay of Pigs reenactment had been transformed into a goddamn musical. No planes, no beach landings, no decisive battles against the mercenaries. Not only was it a musical, but it was now in the hands of a gay theater director who'd publicly denounced the regime. This was burlesque, pure grotesquerie. The remains of a birthday hat and ripped tissue paper lay strewn near his bed. Delia, that's his wife, had given him his birthday gift early, a ludicrous child's telescope, ill-suited for anything but voyeurism. El Comandante lit a cohiba. After nearly self-immolating last month, he'd given up all pretense of giving up cigars. Now he smoked 3 or 4 daily and didn't give a damn what anybody thought. He balanced the puro between his thumb and forefinger as he tottered along the foot of his bed. The smoke engulfed his leonine head, penetrated his beard, the deadly expression in his eyes. His anger toward Fernando surged anew. Did his brother think him a fool? He should never have trusted him again after he pissed away $3 million on that joint venture zombie movie. Fernando still defended the film, insisting that the flesh-eating zombies were supposed to be Yankee-backed dissidents trying to destabilize the country. What did he care that nobody understood the social satire? They'd been laughed out of every film festival on the planet, including Karachi's. The tyrant sat at the edge of his bed and looked down at his bare feet. They were thickly veined, the skin dry and cracked. A blood clot adorned his big left toe like a garment. To think that he'd once watched for days on the pads of his once sturdy soles. At his peak, he'd known omnipotence, a holy opprobrium. Now it was zombies and queer theater directors, insurrection on all fronts. How could he possibly leave the revolution in the hands of these imbeciles? Revolution and art, he decided long ago, were fundamentally incompatible. To cancel the stupid musical would be to risk public humiliation, something the regime couldn't afford. On the other hand, he couldn't permit Fernando to blatantly undermine his authority. El Comandante had demanded a historically authentic invasion, complete with vintage B-52 bombers, mercenary boats, and a cast of thousands. The extravaganza would dazzle their international guests and ensure that the revolution's version of events survived. Now what the hell did he have to look forward to on his birthday? He called El Conejo. Okay, I'm working on this accent of Fidel Castro. It's in progress, okay? I want to see the dolphins. He ordered. Visiting them always calmed him down. A sus órdenes, jefe, when should I arrange a visit? Immediately. Immediately? Do I need to use profanity? I'll come for you shortly. The tyrant savored the moment. His whim would ruin the nights of a dozen or so of his minions. It was useful to test their loyalty now and then, though he'd learned from experience that the most publicly loyal were also the most likely to betray. But if the commander-in-chief, the hell with Fernando, he was still in charge, wanted to visit the aquarium at 2 a.m, so be it. 20 minutes later, he was climbing the steps to the dolphin house. A group of underlings accompanied him, the youngest of his personal physicians, on probation for trafficking in antibiotics, the ministers of the Interior and Agriculture, 3 veterinarians, including an expert on cetaceans, and a couple of Gomemiera generals. El comandante entered the ultramarine room and waited for a bodyguard to adjust his portable leather seat. He would much rather spend his days right here in the aquarium than in the stifling modernist house his wife had insisted on filling with back-breaking Danish furniture. There wasn't so much as a footstool in the whole damn place. The tyrant swiveled to face the gigantic tank. Once, he dreamt of capturing a 200-ton blue whale and putting it on display in Havana, but experts had quickly dissuaded him. Blue whales were an endangered species, and their size made them next to impossible to capture. Besides, to look into a blue whale's eye, they said, into its great wink of eternity, could drive a sane man to madness. The dolphins sidled up to the glass to gaze, brine-eyed, at their most ardent fan. "Start the show," El Comandante barked. The lights dimmed, and a trio of lithe divers, 2 men and a bespangled woman with chapped, forlorn feet, slipped into the water wearing wetsuits but no diving equipment. The divers worked in close harmony with the dolphins, gracefully kaleidoscoping into hearts, spirals, and hexagons to the gyrating rhythms of Los Bambans' greatest hits. They're like the Cuban Beatles. The routines reminded the tyrant of those old Hollywood movies with the swimming starlet Esther Williams. He had a crush on her as a young man, except that this music and choreography were far superior. After a difficult series of jumps and twists, one of the dolphins nuzzled the female diver and waggled its prodigious tail. The dictator clapped his hands in delight. "Ha! That's a new one!" Everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. With any luck, no one would be upbraided tonight. No one dismissed or incarcerated for real or imagined crimes. "That one's getting fat," El Comandante said, singling out the dolphin named Betty. Recently, he'd resuscitated the revolution's Fitness for All campaign from the Dark Ages. Nobody embraced the idea, least of all Cuba's gym teachers, who were as overweight and under-aerobicized as anyone else. One of the veterinarians, a doleful fellow with concave cheeks, stepped forward. She's pregnant, Comandante," Dr. Gutierrez explained, clicking his rubber heels. The tyrant brought his hands together, fingertips touching. "Is she in your charge?" "Sí, Comandante." Dr. Gutierrez blushed to the tips of his ears, as if it were he who had impregnated the sorry creature, and was now facing her father's wrath. "Where was her chaperone?" Everyone remained silent. Mistaking a Comandante's intentions had proved a fast path to oblivion, or worse. "Ha! Idiotas!" he burst out laughing. The divers energetically resumed their routine, rushing a few backflips. During the finale, the errant Betty torpedoed around the gigantic tank, coquettishly flapping her tail. It seemed to the tyrant, and he was never wrong about such things, that the bitch only had eyes for him. Thank you.